Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you work in any kind of complex, fast-paced environment today, you know that keeping things running safely isn't just hard, sometimes it honestly feels impossible, right? Today, we're breaking down a massive, ongoing evolution in risk management. We're going to decode exactly how modern organizations are surviving the daily chaos using two very distinct philosophies, Safety I and Safety II.
So let's jump right into the burning question that executives and safety pros are constantly debating right now. Safety I or Safety II? Which approach is actually better for our modern world? Now, it sounds like a totally simple choice, but as we're about to see, this question fundamentally rewrites the rules of human performance.
To actually answer that, we've got to first acknowledge the reality of the ground we stand on. Today's work environments, they're not the predictable ticking clock assembly lines of the past. Between sprawling global supply chains, rapid tech changes, and hybrid setups, our operations are infinitely more complex, interconnected, and highly variable. We aren't just turning wrenches anymore. A single software glitch can literally halt a global supply chain. The old rules are just really struggling to keep up with this new level of unpredictability.
Part 1. Safety I, Traditional Perspectives. Ensuring as few things as possible go wrong.
Let's start with the baseline perspective that pretty much all of us grew up with in our careers. You can think of Safety I as the classic defensive playbook. It's a highly reactive approach that basically assumes work is linear and predictable. The idea is, if a procedure is written down, the assumption is that it will be followed perfectly. And when it isn't, well, under Safety I, humans are generally viewed as a liability, a problem or a hazard that needs to be fixed. When an incident happens, we lean heavily on root cause analysis to figure out who or what failed, and we track our success using lagging indicators like injury rates and compliance audits.
Now, here's a really interesting realization about all this. Safety I isn't inherently bad. In fact, it is absolutely essential. It excels at creating those necessary baseline structures. It meets strict regulatory requirements, and it provides super clear accountability, especially when you're dealing with high-consequence, low-frequency events. You absolutely need this foundation in place.
But here is the crucial limit. In highly complex systems, purest Safety I hits a massive wall of diminishing returns. You just can't keep adding more and more red tape and barriers. It often leads to stagnant incident rates. And honestly, worse than that, focusing entirely on who failed can create a really toxic blame culture, which totally suppresses the reporting of crucial near misses and those everyday workarounds we all do.
Part 2. Safety II, Building Resilience. Ensuring as many things as possible go right.
This brings us to a massive paradigm shift, formalized by researcher Eric Hollnagel back in 2014. It flips the entire script based on one staggering fact. Over 99% of daily operations actually succeed. But here's the real kicker. They don't succeed in spite of humans. They succeed precisely because of human adaptability, expertise, and real-time problem solving. Think about that. We spend all our time studying the tiny 1% of failures while completely ignoring the 99% of everyday success.
So that's exactly what Safety II is all about. It's proactive and totally system-oriented. Instead of seeing people as a liability to be controlled, humans are viewed as a vital, critical resource for flexibility. By utilizing things like learning teams, organizations can study their everyday successful work to actually understand how their people navigate messy reality. The focus shifts to leading indicators, meaning you're measuring organizational capacity and true resilience before an incident ever even happens.
When you put these frameworks side by side, the fundamental contrast is just wild. Under Safety I, variability is this enemy that needs to be eliminated through strict rules, and learning really only happens when things go wrong. But under Safety II, variability is accepted as normal and totally necessary in a complex world, and the learning focuses intensely on what goes right. It's a complete mental pivot from fix the broken parts to strengthen our capacity to adapt.
Part 3. Imagined versus actual work. Bridging the reality gap.
To truly apply this stuff, we have to look at a central concept of Safety II. Let's start with work as imagined, or WAI. This represents those perfect procedures, the flawless safety manuals, and the baseline plans that get drawn up in a quiet office under completely ideal theoretical conditions. You know the ones. In work as imagined, all your tools are perfectly available, the weather is beautiful, and there is zero time pressure.
But then, those perfect plans inevitably collide with the real world. This is work as done, or WAD. This is the messy reality on the ground. It's how your frontline workers are constantly having to adapt those perfect office procedures to handle real-world constraints, things like sudden resource shortages, busted equipment, intense time pressure, or just unexpected weather.
The gap between imagined and actual work is exactly where safety is either lost or made, and the ultimate deciding factor here, psychological safety. In a culture of fear, where psychological safety is low, frontline adaptations stay totally hidden. Workers use workarounds in secret out of fear of getting blamed, which massively skyrockets your hidden risks. But if you have high psychological safety, workers freely discuss how they're adapting to get the job done. Those same workarounds are surfaced, analyzed, and supported, which actually turns daily variability into your organization's greatest source of resilience.
Part 4. Integrating for the future. The vanguard of safety management.
So, circling back, which approach is actually better for modern environments? Well, here's the ultimate plot twist for you. You don't choose a winner. Pure Safety I is just insufficient on its own to manage modern complexity, but Pure Safety II completely ignores baseline compliance. So the definitive answer is both and. It is not either or. You literally have to integrate both philosophies to survive and thrive.
So how do you actually do this? Well, you adopt an integrated mindset by, number 1, keeping Safety I for your regulatory baselines and high-severity accountability. You absolutely need those guardrails. But then, step 2, you actively layer on Safety II practices to understand exactly how your team successfully navigates daily challenges. And finally, step 3, you blend them together by taking traditional root cause analysis and upgrading it with forward-looking learning teams that ask, hey, how did this usually go right before it went wrong?
In everyday practice, this integration means you routinely compare imagined work against actual work during your pre-task planning. You balance your metrics, so keep tracking those injury rates, but definitely add in resilience metrics, like how often adaptations are being reported. You have to treat psychological safety not just as a corporate buzzword, but as a strict, non-negotiable operational prerequisite. You use dynamic, adult learning principles for your training. And ultimately, you use this integrated view to hunt for the weak signals in everyday work, preventing serious injuries and fatalities long before the system actually snaps. As the source material definitively concludes, bringing these two perspectives together isn't just some nice theory, it is demonstrably better and delivers vastly superior outcomes for complex environments. You get stronger resilience, deeper organizational learning, highly engaged workers, and vastly more effective incident prevention, and you get all of that without sacrificing a single ounce of regulatory compliance.
So as we wrap up this explainer and you head back into your own operations today, I really want to leave you with this crucial thought. Everyday variability is not your enemy, it's just a permanent feature of modern work. The real question is, how are you going to stop fighting that variability and start harnessing it to build a safer, more brilliantly resilient organization? Think about that next time you're reviewing a safety report. Thanks so much for learning with us today.